So now leading to our next step, now that we have set our goals for our paper, it is time for us to begin drafting our paper and kind of hitting that starting point, which is it's the hardest part of writing a paper is starting. So in order to start this draft and start this writing, it's important that we look back on our planning and our goals. The planning that we did is going to kind of help us make our claim and come up with our thesis statement. While doing your drafting and really focusing on that first paragraph of the paper, it's important that you remember that thesis statement's going to state what your paper is going to be about. So now we pick some topics that we think are important to talk about for people that were living during the Great Depression. So I've got 6 different main ideas that I wrote down. I'm going to pick a good 2. That way that I can have a good 2 body paragraphs, maybe even a third one kind of explaining the Great Depression a little bit, and kind of what that was like for a person overall. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Black Tuesday and a decline in industrial production. I think those two are 2 pretty big topics for the Great Depression. And so when drafting this paper and starting with that first paragraph, I think it's important to remember. Now, if I'm going to talk about these 2 and I'm talking about these 2 main ideas, Black Tuesday and decline in industrial production, it's important that my thesis statement states those 2. So we could write something along the lines as the Great Depression was significant to history because when writing your thesis statement, I think it's important to remember that your thesis statement is because it's going to be the reasons you're giving your main topics of the essay. You're letting the reader know these are going to be my main topics. So once you get past this thesis statement, it's going to be easier because you'll have your 2 main topics. You'll have your supporting ideas that we did back in our planning, which will be the small little fill in the blanks during the body paragraphs. So for your thesis, it could be something along the lines of the Great Depression was significant to American history because the stock market crash and the decline in industrial production affected many lives of the American people. And so once you get that down from there, what you'll do is you'll kind of build that bridge that connects, and it leaves a good transition and make sure that you're doing all these things. And as you're writing this draft, it's important that you still remember the goals that you set for yourself. So we have staying on topic, making sure that our thesis is good and it's staying engaged, or making sure that our thesis is connecting to both body paragraphs and that everything's staying in line, staying on track.